For decades, the name Rocky Balboa has resonated as the ultimate underdog saga, a raw, heartfelt triumph against impossible odds. We've all watched Sylvester Stallone's meteoric rise from unknown to global icon, inspired by every grueling training montage and thunderous cheer. Yet, for years, amidst the sweat and glory, Stallone guarded a stunning secret about his most iconic creation. Now, he's finally ready to pull back the curtain on an unexpected truth that will forever change how we view the tale of the Italian stallion. This revelation stretches far beyond the cinematic classic, fundamentally altering its very narrative. What exactly did Stallone reveal? Prepare to discover the fascinating details. Sylvester Stallone conceived Rocky from a deep-seated frustration with the film industry of his time. He found many contemporary movies to be anti-everything, anti-society, anti-religion, anti-government, and largely devoid of heroic figures. Believing that film trends moved in cycles, Stallone yearned to revive the spirit of beloved classics from the 1942nd and 52nd, films that championed heroes and upheld clear moral values. He felt Hollywood had neglected making decent, old-fashioned movies that actually inspired people. Driven by this conviction, he decided to write one himself. He candidly admitted a selfish motive: to craft a script where he could play the lead, a role he desperately craved. At that point in his career, Stallone had achieved little acting success. His roles were predominantly small, often relegated to the background. He recounted playing street drunks or other fleeting characters. Faced with the prospect of failing and quitting acting altogether, he resolved to make his next attempt monumental. He wanted to be able to say, even in failure, that he had given it his absolute best. He felt an undeniable, almost instinctive urge to pursue this path. Stallone knew portraying a lawyer in a suit wouldn't feel authentic for him. Instead, he envisioned an underdog, a street-level character. He chose a boxer, understanding that people inherently recognize boxers as individuals who battle fiercely with minimal external support. When industry insiders read his powerful script, they were captivated. However, they were far from thrilled about Stallone's insistence on playing the lead role himself, deeming him not famous enough. Major stars of the era, including James Caan, Burt Reynolds, Ryan O'Neal, Gene Hackman, and Robert Redford, were all considered for the part. Yet, Stallone stood firm. He famously asserted that he would work harder than anyone, for less money, and for as long as it took. He believed his unwavering conviction and raw passion ultimately swayed them. Rocky was, by Hollywood standards, a low-budget film, costing an estimated $960,000, a sum Stallone famously equated to the cost of an American toothpaste commercial. This modest budget, ironically, meant the producers felt they had little to lose. Stallone, confident in his creation, predicted the film would strike people's hearts. And indeed, it did. There was no foul language, and no one noticed it was missing. He said he was given $265,000 to not appear in the film. He was urged to sell the script and let a big star shine. However, Stallone added that people who have never had so much money don't think about it. If you've never driven a luxury car, you don't miss it because you don't know how it feels. He understood that selling the script and taking the money would make him bitter since he would have stood out. His goal was to act, even if he failed. The movie makers added clauses to the contract stating they may fire him for several reasons to protect themselves, but he persisted. He received $20,000 and a tiny profit for his role in the film. In those days, Stallone and his wife were destitute. He stated they have $106 in the bank and $300 in rent. He joked that his landlord was so large that her shadow covered the building when she collected rent. He claimed she could bend his car without her money. Stallone penned the Rocky script in 3.5 days because he had no option. After all that labor and risk, what occurred when Stallone faced the camera? Find out. Rocky and his risk-taking success. Stallone was nervous when filming began. He had been talking big and saying he could act till then. He had to prove it now. He worried about wasting $1 million and ruining his reputation. He worried people would make fun of his name for a failed effort if he failed. He reported cold and windy weather on the first day, He saw a mirror and wondered if he would do it or stay a bum. He replied, "No, I'm Rocky," when called by his true name. He felt like he had become the character then. He felt more confident afterward. Relief came when he saw the first movie clip. He figured he had a long home movie his folks would like, even if it failed. Stallone said Rocky isn't only about boxing. It's about his struggle and the difficulty many people face when they desire to do something huge but can't. He and Rocky couldn't acquire agents or managers. He and Rocky lacked love at the moment. He believed people would relate to a gritty Philadelphia boxer but not a writer suffering in sunny California. He stated many believed the story wasn't believable, but Stallone disagreed. He mentioned Muhammad Ali and Joe Louis as underdogs who were given chances. He believed it was possible. Rocky was more about love than boxing, he argued. The movie made Stallone famous, but he didn't like being considered a star. He thought the star sounded like a gas ball in the sky. He wanted to be viewed as a Rocky's popularity allowed him to do non-horror movies. He quipped that he went to college for 4 years to receive awful screenplays before Rocky. He said he wrote Rocky as a trilogy. He believed the character's story needed more than one film. He understood he could be locked in one role forever, but he would rather be recognized for Rocky than something foolish. He wanted to do 2 additional movies before creating a second Rocky movie to avoid becoming stuck. About the money, Stallone stated he didn't get rich quickly. He had several bills, and taxes cost a lot. He joked that he had only $400 more than before. He would have made the movie for a sandwich because it wasn't about the money. It was about showing himself he wasn't lying and was inventive. Growing old and realizing he was never as talented as he thought would be painful. That was his priority. After discussing Stallone's personal challenges and journey to create Rocky, what happened behind the scenes of Rocky that pushed everyone to their limits? Watch for more anguish, power, and real battles behind the scenes. Sylvester Stallone's third Rocky film is remembered for the Eye of the Tiger song and Mr. T's ferocity. Most people are unaware of the many secret stories underlying fighting and training. When asked what will happen in the bout, Rocky said pain. That little statement showed how difficult this picture would be. Mr. T was quite energetic on set. Stallone chose him after witnessing him win a television strongman competition. Always serious, Mr. T never lost character. He only spoke like Clubber Lang and behaved tough during breaks. Stallone later admitted he didn't foresee Mr. T's frenzy. The first fight scenes, Mr. T punched Stallone so hard he lost his wind. Stallone took a break from filming to heal. Mr. T assumed Clubber wouldn't apologize. Stallone realized he had selected a tougher opponent. The crew became tense, and the set's vibe deteriorated. Many times, Mr. T's management had to settle things down. Acting and fighting blurred. Stallone equated working with Mr. T to a gigantic hurricane, yet the movie seemed real and deadly via its raw intensity. Mr. T still claims he appeared as himself in. His enthusiasm made Clubber Lang famous and nearly exhausted Stallone. Mr. T actually hit Stallone in the ribs during a fight scene, which was horrifying. Stallone was hospitalized after falling. He had a bruised heart and internal bleeding, doctors found. They encouraged him to rest, but the film schedule was tight and expensive. Stallone defied doctors and returned. He donned secret padding to protect his injury. His motion slowed and hurt. The movie shows him wincing. That anguish was real. It existed. Stallone was harmed while producing Rocky films before, but this was the worst and nearly killed him. Insurance workers were furious, and the team was afraid. Mr. T apologized off camera, but Stallone wanted him to stay in character to be believable. Daily, folks wondered if Stallone would finish the picture. He later acknowledged he was lucky to survive. The fight sequences were realistic but expensive. Mickey's death added depth to the film. Burgess Meredith performed Mickey with emotion since Stallone wrote the scene while grieving. He put his grief about losing a close friend into the story. Stallone urged everyone to leave the set so he and Meredith could practice alone during rehearsals. There was no music or noise, just sheer feeling. Meredith called it his hardest scene. Stallone cried while filming, even off camera. Some set members cried from agony. It wasn't just a movie scene. The film captured Stallone's true suffering. Rocky became about more than boxing. Loss, age, and lifelong struggle were shown. Stallone subsequently remarked that the incident both hurt and healed him. One of the series' most real moments. Hulk Hogan was important in Rocky III. His early scenes as Thunderlips, the big wrestler, were dangerous. Hogan couldn't fake motions and threw actual blows. Hogan tossed Stallone, injuring his neck. Stallone joked that it felt like a vehicle hit, but it was serious. The team and insurance company considered closing the film. Hogan was almost deleted from the film due to his danger, but Stallone insisted he be kept as the monster the audience needed to witness. Hogan got better with time, but the final clip showed some real anguish. Stallone's recovery was uncertain at the time. Years later, Stallone and Hogan joked about it, but it was serious then. After seeing the anguish and danger behind the bouts, what other secrets and sacrifices shaped Rocky III's music, characters, and iconic moments? Dig deeper. Songs, sacrifices, legends. The song Eye of the Tiger is renowned in Rocky III, although it wasn't the plan. Stallone wanted Queen's Another One Bites the Dust. Stallone even matched battle sequences to it, but Queen refused, so he asked Survivor, an unknown band, to compose something fresh. Stallone requested Blood, Sweat, and Heart. Survivor demonstrated Eye of the Tiger. He was amazed by its perfection when Stallone heard it. He added it to the training scenes immediately. Test audiences adored it, and the studio quickly approved. The song topped the charts for weeks. Stallone worked harder than ever for Rocky III. He got so slim that his body fat was barely 2.80%, like elite bodybuilders on stage. Tuna, egg whites, and oats dominated his diet. Morning runs and evening weightlifting were his daily routine. Stretching and punching workouts were included. He slept only 3 or 4 hours a night and stayed dehydrated to define his muscles. He fainted several times on set due to dizziness. Crew members had to continuously monitor him for safety. He kept going despite doctors' warnings. He believed a leaner Rocky would appear more desperate and hungry. Stallone subsequently remarked he felt almost mechanical. He had no water, so his veins popped on video. It looked great, but it was risky, so he never did it again in movies. In LA, Rocky III premiered to loud boos for Mr. T. It surprised him that people hated him so intensely. He was the villain that killed Mickey and defeated Rocky as fans perceived him. Good acting made people think he was cruel in real life. Security had to remove him, and some fans confronted him. Stallone informed Mr. T that this was his greatest accolade as an actor, but he didn't like it and hid for weeks. Fans began sending messages complimenting his work, and youngsters dressed like him for Halloween. Ultimately, he accepted it, but that first night was unforgettable. Rocky's huge monument unveiling almost didn't happen. Stallone felt it would appear arrogant. Studio executives also worried. It slowed the pace and gave away too much. Philadelphia had already built the statue, and the scenario was filmed with a genuine crowd. Audiences adored it in tests. Stallone fought to keep it, saying it showed Rocky's gains and losses. The scene persisted. The statue became a Philadelphia tourist attraction. Few realize it was almost removed, but many visit it every year. Some claimed the statue wasn't art, therefore it was stored and moved. Fans fought for it, and it now symbolizes power and hope. Mickey was intended to die in Rocky IV, but Stallone thought the stakes were too low. He shifted Mickey's death to Rocky III, hoping Clubber Lang would take more than a championship belt. Burgess Meredith was startled to leave so soon. As long as it was meaningful, Meredith agreed to Stallone's dramatic departure. The scene horrified fans and rendered Clubber evil. Critics said it added emotion to the plot. Rocky III might have felt less serious without the modification. Mickey's death personalized Rocky's fight and elevated the series beyond boxing. Weathers nearly didn't return as Apollo Creed. He wanted no little role in Rocky III since he thought his journey finished in Rocky II. Stallone offered him a big role, but there was no script, so Weathers almost chose another job. Stallone made a suggestion. Apollo trained Rocky, becoming friends. Before Stallone detailed the beach scenes where they would run together, Weathers was interested but unsure. Weathers agreed and produced a great performance. Their chemistry deepened the film. What happens when a star who developed a famous character has no ownership left? Does money compensate? Learn more. Stallone's Rocky remorse. Family legacy, wealth, ownership. Sylvester Stallone was asked about Rocky flicks on a show. Stallone stated on social media that he does not own Rocky. He said he can't leave his kids anything from the franchise. He requested rights from producer Irwin Winkler to hand them to his children. One host was startled to learn Stallone owned no Rocky. He felt conflicted. Fans believe Stallone deserves a portion of the brand, since he is its heart. Stallone's children and their families will be prosperous forever because of Rocky. Business is about negotiating, not what you deserve, the host said. Stallone chose money above ownership, so he did. Stallone said on social media that Winkler had ruled Rocky for 47 years. Stallone wants at least a portion of it before Winkler hands it to his kids. He was heartbroken because he wanted to give his children Rocky. The host assured Stallone he wasn't duped. Stallone agreed to the terms and was paid generously. He wasn't paid as little as some comic book artists who made millions. Stallone made rich from Rocky, so the host was conflicted. Another host mentioned Stallone's sketch of Winkler with a knife and a snake in his mouth. He said Stallone made Rocky when no one believed in him. Being a new star, nobody wanted to film a movie with him. Rocky was a hit and won Best Picture. This made Stallone famous worldwide. Stallone earned more with each film after Rocky. The host noted that Stallone earned $10 million as an actor, producer, and writer on Creed, and likely on Creed 2, even though he wasn't in Creed 3. He added, Hollywood deals often lead to major projects. The host also mentioned Stargate developers. They made the first film but had no rights to later television series. They didn't receive paid for those shows because they didn't negotiate. Hollywood is tough, he added. Stallone likely made $100 million to $1 billion, he added. He thought Stallone was smart and invested wisely. It was also said that Stallone helped his family through filmmaking. For Rocky IV, his brother Frank composed. The host suggested Stallone's $400 million net wealth means he can leave his kids a lot. Another broadcaster asked Stallone what else he wants to give his kids besides money. She inquired if Stallone wanted his kids to continue Rocky or hold the rights. She found it weird to regret his deal and criticize the other person for keeping theirs. She noted that many actors receive a set price and lose out on extra money if the project succeeds. Typical in showbiz. She claims Stallone still made a lot of money, so it's hard to feel sorry for him. She said that Stallone starred in Rambo and Tulsa King. She said his career is great and he is not struggling. The hosts agreed that if Stallone had proof of fraud, it would be different. No evidence of that. One host suggested that Stallone could have paid for the movies if he wanted more control. Nobody knows if that's possible. They concluded that Stallone has earned enough to support his family for a long period. They understood his emotional attachment to Rocky but thought he had enough. Business deals matter most, yet they thought it was a mix of business and feelings. How did early hardships and losses affect Sylvester Stallone's legendary Hollywood career? Watch to find out. Hollywood superstar and fighter's journey. Stallone was born Michael Sylvester Gardenzio Stallone on the 6th of July, 1946. Famous American actor, writer, producer, and director. Rocky and Rambo are his best-known roles. His life shows the importance of never giving up and pursuing the American dream. Stallone was born in Hell's Kitchen, New York City. His youth was difficult. Because of a birth defect that stopped part of his face from moving, he was taunted and bullied by other kids. Despite these challenges, Stallone persevered. His route to stardom was Rocky. After a difficult childhood and a brief college stint in Switzerland, he returned to the U.S. to perform. His early 1972 poverty and joblessness were severe. He had to sell his dog to buy food since he was broke. In this difficult moment, he wrote a story that changed his life. For Rocky, Stallone created the script in 1976. A Philadelphia boxer with little money gets a chance to battle for the world title. Stallone wanted to play the lead, but movie executives preferred a recognized actor. He persevered and got the role in his own film. The film was a smash despite its low budget. Stallone became famous worldwide after winning 2 Oscars, including Best Picture. He starred in Fist, Paradise Alley, and Nighthawks after Rocky. The 1982 film First Blood, in which he played John Rambo, established him an action celebrity. He became a fierce action hero once the Rambo movies got popular. In the 82nd and 92nd, Stallone had hits including Cobra, Tango and Cash, Demolition Man, and Cliffhanger. He had some bad movies too. He persevered in Hollywood after failing. Later, Stallone made comedies like Stop or My Mom Will Shoot, and serious ones like Copland. Rocky Balboa in 2006 and Creed in 2015 brought him back to fame, and fans adored his performance again. Stallone's life and work demonstrate strength. He writes, directs, and acts well. Many love him for his perseverance and strength. If you believe in yourself, you can achieve your goals, as his story reveals. Stallone inspires people worldwide. Sylvester Stallone's legacy will undoubtedly be one of bravery and passion. He created characters that affected millions from his personal struggles. Rocky movies, what do you think? Comment your ideas below. I appreciate your video viewing. We hope it intrigued you. Remember to like and subscribe. Check out your favorite celebrity stories by clicking the next video. See you.